WWE Championship match. Daniel Bryan gets his shot against John Cena. And this is really, other than the Brock Lesnar appearance, this is really the selling point of the whole pay-per-view. So a lot of this depends on this. And I said before, they have a chance here to piss off a lot of people if they fuck around with this Triple H thing. Sean Walker is very against it. I am against the idea. I agree, as we've talked about before, that adding Triple H into this match does make it seem more important to the average viewer, I don't think that there's any real argument against that. But man, I do not want to see Daniel Bryan get screwed over here, and I do not want to see him get screwed over in the sense that he beats John Cena, but only because John Cena was too busy paying attention to a down-and-out Triple H, and Daniel Bryan got a roll-up in the process, and it's like, well, John Cena, he didn't really get beaten, he looks strong. I don't want to see that bullshit. I'm tired of it. He can take the loss, and ideally, I would have Daniel Bryan make John Cena tap out.
I would too.
And that would be the end of the fucking story. I don't think that has the slightest bit of a chance of happening, though.
Yep. That's exactly what I think, too.
Yeah, I think what we're getting here is we're going to see one hell of a match between these two. And it's going to be basically John Cena telling Daniel Bryan, can you help me have a good fucking match with this? Not to say that John Cena's a bad wrestler, but it'll depend on Daniel Bryan's style and his pacing. And he's going to call the match, I think. And we're going to get a really good match where John Cena's going to play up the heel. And Daniel Bryan's going to come out on top through some kind of a pin. Maybe he reverses a pinfall or something, and that's how he wins. Because they do play up the angle a lot where Daniel Bryan can find a way out of things. And then I think we're going to see both of them get attacked. And Randy Orton is going to end up cashing in. I think that we're going to get that kind of screw job where Daniel Bryan wins the title and loses it right afterward to Randy Orton. And either Triple H is in on it or Vince McMahon gets somebody like the Shield or the Wyatt family or even just, I don't know, just somebody else from the roster. Something will happen. And Randy Orton will walk out with the championship. Because if John Cena is going to take time off, which is another rumor that's going around, and of course with all rumors you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt. If he takes time off, they need somebody to face Daniel Bryan where it's going to matter, and Daniel Bryan against Randy Orton, that's Night of Champions. That makes sense when Randy Orton cashed in, screwed him over and all that. And they threw one little thing out there building up to this that I think made kind of like a pinpoint to this. Daniel Bryan said to John Cena, you've won this 11 times or whatever. I just want to hold it once. Just once. Mm-hmm. And Randy Orton could come out on Raw and just go, you had your chance to hold it. You held it.
I think...
there's your one fucking time. I've held this 9 times or whatever. Get the fuck out of my ring. That's what happens when you're Money in the Bank. You did it before. Boo-hoo. And Daniel Bryan, will solidify that heel turn for Randy Orton.
I think that there's a reason Triple H was added, and I thought about this, and I'm pretty sure this is where they're going. You're going to see Daniel Bryan beat John Cena by some shenanigans, whatever it is, pinfall, pit tap. It doesn't really matter. You'll see Brad Maddox and Vince try to interfere at different points. But the thing is, the reason Maddox couldn't be the referee is because Cena and Bryan knew that something screwy would happen if he's the referee. Having Triple H makes everybody think it's soft and safe and everything's fine. Cena and Bryan will have no reason to question it. And as Triple H is raising Daniel Bryan's hand, because Vince doesn't want John Cena to be champion, he doesn't want Daniel Bryan to be champion. As Triple H is raising Daniel Bryan's hand, he's going to get a kick to the gut and a pedigree, and Randy Orton is going to come down the ramp, and he's going to cash in the briefcase, and he's going to win the championship. And you're going to see that Triple H heel turn, and he's going to be hand in hand with Vince McMahon. And then Bryan is going to have to feud against the Machine, the new heel Orton, and all of that. They don't care that Orton and Vince and Triple H have legit family issues from years ago, because the statute of limitations is over on that, as Miguel said earlier. That's not even relevant in anyone's mind anymore. They want John Cena to not have the belt. They want Daniel Bryan to not have the belt. Randy Orton fits that little thing. They've been trying to not just flat out say, I hope Randy Orton cashes in the briefcase because I don't want Cena or Bryan to have the belt. the whole Bryan only wants to hold it once thing fits in perfectly into that too. And they did this cute little thing recently where they tried to they started an internet rumor of Triple H is going to turn heel and then he's going to fight with Austin at WrestleMania for the rights to the company, and they made it like this like silly thing, and they're like, but that's not really going to happen now. To kind of like, you know how like the IWC just kind of takes a lot of things like that to heart. I think what happens is Triple H does turn heel. None of that, the rest of that stuff was kind of like a smoke cloud. It was kind of to throw people off. I think that Triple H turning heel is a very real possibility to screw Bryan over. It's the only way Orton can cash in and have it be surprising. Because the surprise won't be him cashing in. The surprise will be Triple H turning. Mm-hmm. And it puts Triple H in the spotlight, too.
Of course it does.
So
he did not need to be the referee.
I have a bit of a theory behind this, and I'm using... I'm looking at this, the way Triple H is inserting himself into this feud. It reminds me a lot of when he inserted himself into the feud with CM Punk and John Cena. It reminds me of that because I still subscribe to the theory that the reason that CM Punk lost a lot of his steam coming out of that feud was because of Triple H, and I see a lot of that with this feud. And I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to have I think they're going to bring Daniel Bryan into this Vince Triple H feud, where Triple H, he wants to stick up for Daniel Bryan because Vince hates him. So what he's going to do is he's going to take Daniel Bryan and he's going to make him his pal, like he did with CM Punk at one point, which not only gets him out of the WWE title because they don't want Daniel Bryan in the WWE title picture. They don't want him to be in there because he has the potential to overshadow John Cena. They want to get him away from Cena, and they'll put Cena with Randy Orton if Randy Orton cashes in. And what they're going to do is they're going to have Triple H there to act as kind of the older brother to Daniel Bryan's younger brother. The guy that Daniel Bryan looks up to in a way, like he did with CM Punk. I think the reason they put Triple H there is that they want to get Bryan away from the title picture so that he doesn't overshadow Cena, because right now Daniel Bryan has a lot of heat, a lot of fanfare on him. And, he sells his merchandise. The fans are way behind him more than they are Cena. So they're going to do like they did Punk. They're going to slowly move him away from the title picture, get him to buddy with Triple H, and then they're going to move him into that feud with Vince McMahon. They're going to have Daniel Bryan be like the surrogate for Triple H, whereas, Vince McMahon will get whoever they can to be the surrogate for him. As far as Randy Orton's concerned, I think the next big feud you're going to see is Orton versus Cena. I think that's it sucks, but they got to put somebody in there with Cena that's a main eventer, but they don't want anybody who can overshadow Cena. And Orton fits both those molds. He's a big enough star, but he's not too big. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think you're going to have a situation where Bryan's going to win, Orton's going to interfere, and then Triple H is going to take Daniel Bryan by the side and start kind of, nurturing him, for lack of better terms.
Does anyone think that Daniel Bryan's going to lose and not get back in the title picture, but he's going to win the Royal Rumble?
That's a possibility.
Yes. That's exactly. I've been thinking that was going to happen since the last WrestleMania. That Daniel Bryan was going to get into a big push this year after he lost the tag titles with Kane. That he wasn't going to get the championship for any more than a second, like he's going to have at SummerSlam. And then he's going to win the Royal Rumble, and he's going to get that like revenge for the whole thing with Sheamus a couple of years ago. He's actually going to get to have a good match and win the title at WrestleMania. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. He's going to take that time out of the main event, kind of. Like, he'll be in the main event, but he won't be winning any championships or competing for the title. He'll be kind of like Jericho was for a while in the main event or something. Like, just there competing with other main eventers, and then he'll win the Royal Rumble, and it'll be like a big deal because he's never won the Rumble.
Mm-hmm. And I think that really, and not to really just like go into the whole Royal Rumble thing again, but I think that other than Daniel Bryan, there's only two other people that could win, and that's CM Punk and Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, and I think that this Royal Rumble coming up is going to be one of those, the babyface wins, goes on to win the WWE title kind of things, because they'll try to do something special for
30.
WrestleMania 30. Although I could see in the case of Dolph Ziggler, he goes on to win the World Heavyweight title instead of WWE. But
Right.
yeah, I think that they can. I think that that's a really good likelihood that could happen, and that could be a situation where Daniel Bryan wins the championship here, gets cashed in on by Randy Orton. They have a little bit of a feud there, and then they do what you just said. He gets pushed out of it and works his way back up, and then that's kind of like, well, he did win it at SummerSlam, but he kind of didn't, and it took him another 8 months or whatever it is until WrestleMania, and then he got it. Like, they could very well do that.
I think if they're smart, they take advantage of the fact that Sheamus is going to be out for 6 months and maybe move the WWE title over to SmackDown and have the big feud be Bryan versus Orton. I still think that they don't want a guy that's so big that he overshadows Cena, which is why they kind of undercut Punk a little bit by sticking him with Triple H last year. They kind of not so much killed his push, but stifled it a little bit. I think now that Sheamus is out of the picture, because Sheamus, for all intents and purposes, was kind of the top babyface on SmackDown, I think moving Bryan over there and having him take that spot is a boon for both of them, because it gives Bryan the platform to be able to become that big star. So even if he does overtake Cena, they never cross paths until later down the line. It's kind of like what they did with Batista. When Batista started to become really big as John Cena was starting to become, they moved him over to SmackDown and he became the number one guy there. And they didn't put Cena or Batista together at all until roughly at least, a year before Batista was out of the picture?
A couple of years before.
So what's the Sorry.
No, go ahead. You had a question?
I was going to say, what's the likelihood that they stick Bryan with Del Rio then on SmackDown? If Del Rio's going to win at SummerSlam, what's the likelihood that in the next 2 months Bryan becomes the big babyface of SmackDown and feuds with Del Rio for the rest of this year? Because there's not really anybody else that's going to fight with him. Sandow's not ready. Christian's only getting one match. There's no one else to face Del Rio. They're going to keep it on him just because they have no other options. So in 2 months, maybe by then, Del Rio's too stale. Bryan comes over, beats Del Rio for the belt. That's also a possibility.
I think they could.
Daniel Bryan is the world champion instead.
Honestly, considering Del Rio's pretty much taken on as many people as he can on SmackDown, I can see him moving over to Raw and then maybe feuding with some of the baby faces on that side.
There's no roster split though.
I know, but technically, true. But technically, you need one title on one show, and Orton would be getting the title. Orton would be winning the title for the Money in the Bank cash-in. He's a SmackDown guy, so you have Bryan and Orton feuding on SmackDown, and then you kind of quote-unquote move Del Rio over to Raw and have the World Heavyweight title be on that show prominently, while you've got Orton and Bryan feuding on SmackDown, which boosts SmackDown and gives Bryan the opportunity to really grow as the top babyface that I think he has the potential to be.
Del Rio wrestles on Raw like every week, though. Like literally almost every week, Del Rio's on Raw. And Orton.
I think you might as well just leave him there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's kind of one of those guys they just use on both. There's certain people that don't wrestle on SmackDown and certain people that are hardly ever on Raw because they don't fit on Raw. But like Del Rio's pretty much on both shows.
Yeah,
he's fought most of the Raw roster and the SmackDown roster. That's what I'm saying. They don't have many people left. Bryan signed as someone he hasn't really feuded with in a long time though. So
we're gonna go around the horn here. It's who do you think is gonna win? Daniel Bryan versus John Cena, and do you think Randy Orton is going to win? Drew?
Oh man, I do think Daniel Bryan's gonna win, but I think they're gonna hotshot it and give Randy Orton the title with the cash in and all. So, which is unfortunate, but there's too many fucking variables going into this match now that Triple H and Vince are obviously gonna get involved. So it's obvious now that what's gonna happen.
Burhan? We lose Burhan?
My discussion put him to sleep. Thank God.
He may have fell asleep. It's so late there.
He might have, yeah.
Sure.
I'm half in and out on this. I would say, sorry, I just had it on mute for some reason. I'm gonna go with Bryan because I think Cena's gonna take time off, but I'm also going with an Orton cash-in.
Jester?
I only think Orton cashes in if Triple H turns. That's the only reason I see it, because otherwise it's too obvious that he cashes in at SummerSlam. They can hold it off if if Bryan wins, it's a clean, and Triple H has no intention of turning. It's a clean Daniel Bryan victory. Triple H raising his arm. That's it. But if Orton does cash in, it leaves the possibility for a triple threat match at Night of Champions, which is actually a different match than just Cena Bryan again. So and if Cena's got to be in the title picture, that's definitely a possibility. Which is why I think Triple H is going to turn. But if he doesn't turn, Bryan wins clean and nobody cashes in. So it's dependent on that.
Braden?
Yeah, Bryan wins the title, but only to be immediately cashed in on by Orton. So you just smell it a mile away.
I love it.
And Miguel?
Bryan to win and Orton to cash in.
And I'm reflecting the same exact thing. I think Bryan's winning, hopefully by fucking submission, but I don't really put much clout into that. And then Randy Orton wins, and that's kind of all she wrote for that. Before we get into the plugs, we are going to do just a quick rundown about the fantasy information here. As you guys know that we do before every single pay-per-view, we have the pre-show. So go to Mega Powers Radio on Blog Talk Radio at 6:30 Eastern Time. We're doing it a full hour before the pre-show starts on WWE, and we'll be doing it into the pre-show and ending around the time that the pay-per-view actually starts. But that is going to be your chance to call in and talk about this stuff other than the stuff that you guys want to throw in the comments on here. And we're going to run down our full predictions, our last predictions when it comes down to that. That has an effect on the fantasy league. The point system right now, we have Jester in the lead at 465 points. Burhan following with 315. Peyton has 295. I have 245. Brandon Ligon is with 85. He took a massive drop down there over the past week or so. Braden shot up at 70 points, and Miguel is in last with 25, but nobody has negative points anymore, so that's a good positive.
Yeah, I'm in the positive for points. That's like a first.
So we have a substitution that's going to be made, though. Miguel?
I made a mistake drafting Jack Swagger onto my team. I think
you did.
Very much obvious right now. And it's too bad that Brandon is not going to give up Sheamus, because I talked to him on Facebook. He said even though Sheamus is out, he's still going to hold on to him. But seeing as how a certain other person just dropped one of their talents because he's going to quote-unquote be taking time off, it's not going to hurt me to take him, especially if he decides to come back later,
right.
Much later. So I'm dropping Jack Swagger, and I'm going to draft Kane.
I'm going to give you the, oh, no.
Hold on, guys. I'm feeding my dog. He's eating my table scraps. Jack Swagger and Kane. Here you go, Miguel. Here you go.
Arf.
Lol.
I don't think that there's
really racist.
I don't think that there's any other kind of swaps or anything that's happening, right? Is anybody trading?
Are you kidding me? My team needs help. All right. I am like.
Do you want to cut to the chase and just give me CM Punk for Christian?
You're funny.
How about giving me Roman Reigns for Ryback?
For those who don't know, the winner of the prediction is going to be able to swap whatever two people that they possibly want to. It doesn't have to be on your team either. So Jester has been trying to get people to swap John Cena for, what was it, Jimmy Uso?
Yeah, whatever Uso is the one that Miguel has in the first spot.
No one is going to swap my John Cena, so you could all go screw
They will. They will.
Wait,
I'm going to win it all. I'm going to win it all, Jester, and I'm going to disband your team.
It's a possibility.
How does the prediction thing work again?
You can swap any two people as long as they're on the same tier of the choice. For instance, my thing that I keep teasing is if I end up winning this, the last one on mine is Christian, and the last one on Jester's is CM Punk. So I would trade Christian for CM Punk and reap the benefits of it. But you could also do something like I could trade whoever is the second tier person on Braden's team to the second tier person on Brandon's team, and you can fuck around with somebody, or you can give something to yourself. But you can't do anything like since Christian is the last one on mine, I can't trade him for John Cena, who's the first on Burhan's.
So technically, I have the chance to swap Antonio Cesaro for CM Punk.
Yep.
Yeah. What I think is really, really funny is that according to the entire panel here, I'm going to have the WWE Champion and the World Champion after SummerSlam. That's fair, right? I mean, totally.
Well, you're not going to have them because we're going to trade them.
Uh-huh.
I'll be getting John Cena for Jimmy Uso.
I have so little like things I need to even do to my team that I could easily just send John Cena to Team Miguel just to piss off Bryan. Like, and it's funny too that like Tony would send me Christian for Punk, and then Punk would actually get put in the hospital by Brock for a while, and Christian would go and like win the Intercontinental Championship or something.
It's happened before. Look at the Dolph Ziggler thing and the Daniel Bryan thing. I mean, as soon as we started this off, Daniel Bryan loses the tag team championship. Dolph Ziggler gets a concussion and loses. It doesn't even have his fucking first match to defend the World Heavyweight Championship, and then when they bring him back, he fucking loses. Like,
I'm gonna be watching it.
Orton gets suspended for shitting on someone's bag or something.
Yeah, because this is 2007.
You know what's going to happen the way that my team has been going? Dolph Ziggler is going to lose because of the Big E Langston retarded mix-up kind of thing that we were mentioning earlier. Daniel Bryan is going to get cheated out of the Cena match. Bray Wyatt's going to lose the Ring of Fire match.
Now, hold on, wait a minute. That actually brings up a good point. If Daniel Bryan wins his matchup, but then Randy Orton cashes in, who gets the points? Does Tony and Jester get points?
No, apparently Bryan gets the points for that.
Wait, no, we both get the points.
We both get the
WWE Championship win. He would get the points, and I'd get the points. He'd also get points for Daniel Bryan losing a match.
Shut up, Jesse.
Okay.
No.
Right.
Yeah, that's 100%.
I would get the points for the win of Daniel Bryan against John Cena, and then a new match would start up with Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan, and I would lose the points because he would lose that match, and Jester would gain the points of Randy Orton, not only winning the match, but winning the title.
You're still gonna get you're gonna get some points out of that because the negative and positives are different.
Right.
So where like you're still gonna get a little positive from Bryan winning, even if he loses to Orton after.
But we can all agree that Michael Burhan would be losing points overall.
Right, because of John Cena. But yeah, that's even if that happens. But so what we're gonna do, guys, the pre-show before SummerSlam on Mega Powers Radio. That's where we're gonna do our final predictions, and Peyton will run down all the other kind of stuff. The tiebreaker, which we're not too sure what's gonna happen with that yet. Possibility might be that we pick the lineup of the matches. We might do something else where I don't know. It's draw something out of a hat, or I don't know.
Or like string Jester up by like a cord and use him like a piano.
You need to go to bed. You're so like delirious and tired. You're just like saying things.
I'll promote the Nerd Genius stuff for you, bro. If anything.
Well, we're
Spanish, aren't you? Can you like tell us how to string him up like a piñata?
Well, that's what we're going to be doing next is the plugs. And Sign Me Up initiative, of course, bring a Smark Out Moment sign to any kind of wrestling event. Take a picture of it or a video, send it to me, and I'll put it up on the next episode of Smack Talk. We're going to move along here. Miguel, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to actually promote two things. The first one being my blog on fanboysanonymous.com, 90s Kid Presents, which I am going to be probably taking a bit of a hiatus from that. And the reason is because of my other plug. I just recently became a writer on This Job for Hire, which is Michael Burhan's new show. So I'm going to be taking a bit of a hiatus to write up a script or two for some of his for a few of his episodes. So check that out in the near future. Check out his show, This Job for Hire, right? It's not
There
for hire. This Job for Hire on YouTube.com on Michael Burhan's on Michael Burhan's YouTube page, and hopefully sooner or later my episode will be coming up there. It's pretty good. It's pretty big.
All right, Braden.
Oh, okay. Well, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's www.youtube.com/spoobies. Visit Fanboys Anonymous for everybody in this group chat's articles we got going. It's extremely late. Everybody's really tired. We can move on, I'm sure. The same projects will be at least plugged one or two more times by the time it's over.
All right, Drew.
Hey, everyone might be tired, but I'm just getting ready for my plug. So let's get this started. If you need bounce houses and you live in the Indianapolis, Indiana area, God, I already screwed this up. This is not good. So,
BWF.
It's a PHWF, you idiots. The BHWF. I can't even fucking say my own. God, I just said the PWF. I can't even say my own fucking bounce house.
Kids, don't ever trust a man walking around your area of a bounce house.
Yeah, it might be me, damn it. Or Burhan disguised as me and he's gonna rape you.
Fucking
So can I
Burhan.
please finish my... Okay, guys, let me finish my plug, okay? Come on. I didn't interrupt you guys. Okay, so if you live in the Indianapolis, Indiana area and you need a bounce house, call 765-212-1521, or you can go to bigblastrentals.com where you can see our fine selection of bounce houses. By the way, there's only 4, so it's not that fine, but it's still pretty cool.
Way to sell it, Drew.
The first one.
Uh,
Oh man, I'm not done. Like everyone else is gonna promote, you should go check out Fanboys Anonymous. Not for these guys. You can just check me out because I'm pretty cool. So screw everyone else's articles. Just check out my stuff. And yeah, that's about it. Oh yeah, you should check out Mega Powder's Radio mainly because it's especially Jeff Kroop's show he's gonna be doing this Sunday. So you should go check that out. See, I even plug Jeff, okay, and that's pretty cool.
Jester?
All right. You can follow me on Twitter at @JesterKid. You can check out my articles and everyone else's articles on Fanboys Anonymous. I'm actually going to be starting an article tonight or tomorrow on the new Pokemon Origins anime that's going to be in Japan in October. They just released the trailer today. Really exciting stuff. People have been clamoring for that for the last 10 years at least. Just it's an anime. It's an anime loosely based off of the Red and Blue video games that we all remember from our childhood, and it's going to be really exciting. Even if it doesn't come to the States, I'm sure everybody's going to watch it in Japan anyway, or Japanese language and all that. It's going to be really, really good stuff. I'm going to be working on that tomorrow, and also check out Ritalin so you don't end up like Drew White was on this episode because he was all over the place.
You gotta plug Ritalin.
I'm going to plug Ritalin for all of our sakes. And I'll pass it over to Burhan. Jesus.
I'm Jesus?
Yeah, Burhan Jesus.
Pass it on to Burhan Jesus.
You got an upgrade from Duchess to Jesus.
Being Jesus.
I like you today, so you're Jesus.
I don't like a Jesus that rapes. So this
being the son of God and kind of rapey. I would like to promote a few things. I got gameplay tomorrow night, 8 p.m. We're doing gaming villains, what makes them so popular and why. youtube.com/TheNerdGenius and also www.nerdgenius.com and fanboysanonymous.com. And Miguel fell over.
Sorry. The pop-up came up on my internet thing and started blaring music. I'm like, shut it off.
Oh, I thought it was just poured and he just got scared.
Oh shit.
But yeah, check out this job for hire. Literally, I'm still in negotiations with Blip TV. Apparently, they may be recanting on the whole not doing it, but then doing it. It's going out on loads of different platforms. Episode 2 is coming in September, so check out episode 1, which is episode 2 is going to be the interviews. Check that out. And make sure you stay tuned to Mega House Radio for everything, including Geek Speak, the Daceman Show, our Raw post show, our pre-shows, keeping kayfabe, and also everything else that's not Chris Jester tapping on a keyboard. So there you go, guys. That's me, and I'll pass it back over to Tony with his Love Fest.
All right, guys. As mentioned before, fanboysanonymous.com. We're still looking for more writers if you're interested, so send a message on the contact form there if you are interested in anything that comes along that kind of spectrum. I'm sure there's something that you like. Movies, TV shows, video games, all that other kind of stuff. Go to outonlimbs.com for my social commentary. Recent article I just posted bitching and complaining about the fact that McDonald's milkshake machines are always fucking broken, and I really want one. Stupid kind of crap like that you'll find there.
Fighting social commentary only on Out on Limbs.
Exactly. Check out the Bleacher Report stuff. I got something coming up that I might be working on for comicbookmovie.com. Everything else, just follow the Twitter accounts and the Facebook accounts and the buzzards and everything else that you're supposed to follow. And that'll do us in for episode 93. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out. Adios, everybody.
1, 2, 3, the show is done. 1, 2, 3, the outros come. 1, 2, 3, the show is done. 1, 2, 3, the outros come. Weedy, 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 weedy. That's all I got.
Jesus.